Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Tommy Daniels. Thank you so much for pressing play. I feel like a newscaster. Anyway, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new, thank you for coming. I would like to ask you to kindly subscribe or consider subscribing to my channel, turning on the notification button, sharing my videos. It would really mean a lot. Today I'm going to be, oh, by the way, check out my previous video. I was a vlog, my first vlog ever. What did you guys think? I didn't really get comments on that video, so I'd really like to know what you thought about it and what I can improve. So please check it out. I'll link the video here, and if I don't, just please check out the video. Okay, so today's video I think is something that I've spoken about. Obviously you can see the title already, but I've spoken about it, I think, in bits and pieces, or maybe even in detail, but today I'm going to go into like proper details, and it's basically the story of how God wrote my love story. And I'm going to go into like background and just give you the full tea. But yeah, the reason why I'm doing this video is really for you to see how God can move, and to see, because for me, I just see the hand of God written all over it, and I just wanted to let you know, particularly for those that are, I guess, still maybe single or desiring, such a testimony, to be able to rest in God and allow God to write the love story. Okay, so let's get into the video. You can get a drink, get popcorn, because it might be a pretty long one. Hopefully not too long. All right, let's go. Okay, so this started in 2016. Now, I remember that around September, or I think it was around September, or maybe, yeah, it was around September, I was at work, and randomly, like very randomly, I just thought, I should go to Nigeria on holidays. Now, I've never actually gone to Nigeria, like since I moved to the UK, I've never gone to Nigeria on holidays. I've only gone there, so prior to that time, I'd only gone there once, which was the previous year. And that was for my sister's wedding, so I'd actually never just gone visiting like for nothing. So this was the first time, and I just thought, let me go to Nigeria. And I remember telling one of my sisters, so the first one I told, she was kind of like welcoming to the idea, so she was like, oh yeah, like, you should go. Now it really encouraged me, because whilst I was telling her as though I was just informing her that, oh, I'm going to Nigeria, in my mind, if she had kind of disagreed, it would have really swayed me or made me like rethink going. But because she was kind of encouraging, or she sounded encouraging, I was encouraged. So I was like, yeah. So by the time I told one of my other sisters who didn't really agree, like if I told the sister that didn't really agree, I think it would have stopped me. So for me, like, I just felt like God was really orchestrating everything right from that moment. And I had no, the only thing I was thinking about going to Nigeria was, I was like, I just want to go have fun in Nigeria. And I was thinking about a particular youth camp that I attended like a couple of times before, like years ago, like maybe 8 years before then or so. I'd attended once or twice. And I wanted to go again. And my thought was that, that was going to be my last December as a single lady. So I just wanted to go, because I felt like I may not get the opportunity to go again to the youth camp, and just go and have fun. Bear in mind, so all of my family, except for one of my sisters and her husband, were living in Nigeria at that time. So all of my family was here. So my immediate family, I mean, my parents were also here on holiday at the time, and they were going to be here through Christmas. So it didn't really make sense that I was going. Like, was it just to see that one sister and her husband? Like, physically it didn't make sense, but I just kind of felt it, like I should go. And it was just a random thought. I still remember, like, where I was sitting at work that day when I had that thought. Now after that, I remember telling okay, so I used to, in my church then, I used to run or lead the singles ministry, or part of the leaders of the singles ministry. So I remember telling one of the leaders, or couple of the leaders that, you know, we should really do like have a proper like a big event, Christmas event, like, you know, really big, like make it like the biggest thing we've ever done. And all the while, like my thought process was this was going to be my last December as a single person, and I was just thinking that, you know, I in my mind I was kind of passing the baton, but I wanted to kind of leave the group with a bang, or like leave it, you know, in a very good way. So I all this while, by the way, you would think I had a relationship or I had someone that was like seemed like a prospect. I had absolutely nothing. Not that I didn't have people that liked me, I did, but no one that I was remotely interested in. So I was saying all of these things or feeling all of these things, and it wasn't like I was even trying to like fake it. It was just the way I felt. It was just what I was thinking. I was just thinking that this would be my last December as a single person. And that was it, and I was just going with that. Now I remember, like, again in September, I remember one day, it was a Tuesday. I think I worked from home that day. I remember then I was living alone. I remember sitting on my bed and I was just like, you know, praying, and I, you know, saying, God, you know, write my love story. I just remember, like, it's funny how you just remember like interesting things, or like, I guess they can look like random things, but like some things are just like they're engraved in our minds. But yeah, I remember, like, you know, asking God specifically, that was the prayer point, and saying, you know, God, like, write my love story and stuff. I think this was around September as well. I may be wrong, but I think it was then. So anyway, fast forward to, I think I bought my tickets, and then later to Nigeria. Then later in October or November thereabout, I started rethinking the whole Nigeria thing. I was like, one of my sisters is actually the one that didn't really like, well, she wasn't really too keen on me going to Nigeria. She was like, if I want to go on holiday, like, I should go to like other countries. Like, you know, I'm not very well traveled. Like, I haven't been to many places on holiday. So why am I going to Nigeria that I lived in and stuff? But at that point it was kind of late because I'd booked my tickets, and it was kind of like there's no point. Even me, like, I was thinking about that. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. I should have gone to like other countries. But you know, I guess God was just working and just made it like, you know, if I didn't book my ticket at that point, clearly I would not have gone again. So December comes, actually before, so November, actually still November, there was a guy I'd been speaking to. We've been speaking on and off for like over a year, well over a year at that point, probably even like 2 years. Yeah, probably over 2 years at that point. And then I can think it just kind of it came up again in conversation. We started talking, and the whole time, like, I'd not, it's like I kind of liked him, but I also didn't like him. Or I won't say I liked him. I think it was more of I was trying to make myself like him. And actually, the person I'm referring to, I did a video about it when I said how I knew it was not the one. So again, check out that video for the story time on that, or for the story around that. So at this point, like, he'd come back again, and we're like, you know, trying to see if it'll work. And I remember, like, you know, around that time, like, I was praying, I was like, you know, God, who's my husband? This was around November still. I was like, oh God, who's my husband? And in my mind, I thought I heard his name. Like, I was like, oh, you know, it's this person. But it wasn't. That definitely wasn't God speaking to me. But you know, like, when it was the one on my mind, so like it's easy for my mind to, you know, just kind of, I guess, regurgitate his name. So we started talking again, and I think my birthday was in December. My birthday is 6th of December. So it was around my birthday, or my birthday was like kind of coming up. And then I can't remember how or who brought up the suggestion of like going out for my birthday, or taking me out for my birthday. And maybe I even insinuated it, I don't know. And then they decided to, you know, take me out for my birthday. So I think it wasn't taking me out on my birthday. By the way, at this point, like, you know, there were some things that I was really beginning to see in him, that apart from like the initial things that I was like, oh, like, you know, not being a gentleman, etc., and maybe punctuations and how he wrote, and me just not really liking him or being physically attracted to him. But there were some things that we're not getting like into fundamental, like in terms of like his doctrines. I realized that his doctrines started changing a lot. Like, he's a Christian, but like he started having like this funny doctrines, what I would call funny doctrines and things. I'm like, they're kind of red flags for me. So I think, anyway, I'm not going to go into those doctrines. So we decided to, like, you know, go out again. Now I remember, like, you know, telling like my friend or like a couple of my friends, and it was kind of like really like, you know what, like, give this your best shot, like, you know, go all out, like, in my dress, in what I wore, everything I did there. We went out. it didn't go, it went okay, it went better than the previous times, but it wasn't great. Like I remember coming back and I was just like, you know what, that chapter is closed because there's nothing, like I've tried, and that was really for me. I was just like, you know, I'm just going to go out one more time and see how it goes. And so this, by this time was might have been around like 10th of December or so. So I was just like, you know, that chapter is closed, close the door, we're done. And again, I'm still thinking that this is my last December. So that's probably the only person I would have thought that, oh, could this be the one? The other people around, like I said, you know, I just had no interest whatsoever. And so that went. So I went to Nigeria. I got to Nigeria on the 27th of December 2016, that fateful day. And I remember sitting in the car with my sister. Oh, sorry, I said we went to a youth camp. So I got to Nigeria on the same day as the youth camp. So my sister picked me, and Stan and husband picked me, and they were also part of the youth group. So we went there. I remember sitting in the car. I think my sister was doing something for me, maybe my hair or something. So I was sitting in the car and she was standing outside. And then my lovely now husband, Shay, came to say hello to my sister because he knows my sister. And she was like, oh, you know, do you know like Tommy? And I was like, oh yeah, I know him. So I'd met him once before, or I'd met him previously during my sister's wedding. However, I just really have no recollection of that meeting or him being around my sister's wedding time. But I know that after that we started following each other on Instagram. So when she was saying, oh, do you know Tommy? I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I know him. Like we follow each other on Instagram. And so we just said hello. And honestly, there was nothing on my mind. Now I'm going to backtrack a bit. During the time when I was going to Nigeria, I really I was against like long distance. So I was like, God, I'm not really trying to meet my husband in Nigeria, because I'm like, if after being single for 26 years, I was 26 at the time, I've been single for 26 years, or I just turned 26 years that December. I think I deserve to not be in a long distance relationship when I finally am in a relationship, you know, like that was, I actually really thought like that. I was like, God, you know, so I definitely I didn't want to meet someone in Nigeria. I didn't want to meet someone that, you know, start thinking about who is moving, where am I moving back? Like I didn't have any plans to move to Nigeria. Do you want to start dragging someone here? So I didn't want like all of that headache. So my mind was really clear in sense that I didn't want to meet someone in Nigeria. So I was really going freely, and I genuinely was just going to have fun and have a good time. I was going to be there for like 10 days or so. And it was, for me, it was all fun. I was so free. Like, I didn't have any thing of thinking, I want you to see someone and you're thinking, oh, could that be? And I'll be honest, I don't know if this is the same for like, you know, other people that are single. Usually when I see someone, maybe like someone comes to church newly, or you just meet someone on the road or at work or something, and you're just thinking, could this be, or at an event or whatever, once you see them, like immediately in those first 3 seconds, you're thinking, could this be or could this not be? So I didn't have that baggage or that issue, I guess, on my mind. So I was really free, and I think it was so helpful for me because I was really myself. I wasn't trying to like put up appearances. I was just completely there to like have fun. Now again, before I went to Nigeria, I remember when I told, so I was saying that, you know, I didn't want to meet anyone in Nigeria. The only thing I was thinking, I was like, maybe I can meet someone on the flight that is also like going on holiday or on his way back or whatever. That was like the only thing that was just like, I was like, okay, God, if it's that's fine. But any other thing, I was like, no, I don't want it to be someone in Nigeria. Anyway, the only other thing was when I was going, I remember when I was going, I told my pastor's wife, and she said something like, she's usually doesn't really make comments like that. So she made a comment that like it's kind of like this trip you're going on. She didn't say anything, but she said a lot, if you know what I mean. Like I laughed about it, and I was just like, but it was unlike her to say something like that to me. She may think things like that, but to actually say something like that to me. But I remember that she said, I remember like I was going up the stairs when she said it. Again, like, you know, random things like just have engraved like in your mind. Anyway, moving forward, I got to Nigeria, met Shay. So at the time I was like, oh no, like, you know, I know him on Instagram, it's cool. If I had that mindset of could this not be, immediately I'm thinking, maybe I shouldn't talk, or like, you know, you start like, you know how everyone puts up like their best foot forward, like on like initial meetings or first dates or stuff like that. I didn't like, I just did not have that cloud around me, and it was so awful for me. So that was that. Then that night, I think that night at the youth meeting, they had the first session, and it was like maybe just started like maybe 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Bear in mind, I got to Nigeria that day, so it was I had an overnight flight, and I was tired. It'd been a long day. Like as soon as I got to Nigeria, I think I didn't get my hair done. So I had to get my hair done. I think I got it was just a really stressful day. So at this point, like when the session started, I got really tired, and I was sitting by myself. My sister was somewhere else. And by the way, this youth camp was like, I don't know, like 500 people. So they're having a session. So I got tired and I was feeling sleepy. So I decided to like kind of just stand up and take a walk. So I went to the back of the hall, and I just sat down there, and then Shay walks in as well, and he also just comes straight to the back and he just sits down, and I think maybe says hello or whatever. And then as I was sitting, I took out chocolate from my bag to eat, and I just offered him. I think I remember he took it, but that really meant a lot to him. But again, like I was just being nice. I was being like, just being myself. The next day, so I don't know, I've said a bit here and there, I don't know. The next day, I remember him asking, when we're back in the hall, like for another session, and I was like, oh, how was your night? He's in like a secondary school, sorry, boarding school. So I think they were right there. So I was like, yeah, it was, a bit uncomfortable. And we just like joked. Then we started talking, but not really much. So all this while, like I'm still in that zone of being completely free. I'm not thinking anything. I'm not thinking husband or this thing. I'm just having fun and being myself fully. And then I remember like during, I think that same day actually, during one of the like afternoon sessions, like one of the preacher said something like, oh, maybe turn to your neighbor and ask them what's your purpose. At this point, I think he was already thinking in that line, but I'm not sure, but I think he was already thinking of he was already thinking in that line. So he was kind of like getting himself around me, but I was just thinking, oh, I'm just making friends here. There were other people I was like talking to as well. Like there are people like I kind of knew, so I was like talking to them as well. So he was one sitting next to me at the time when the question was asked, and then I was like, I just turned to him and I gave him a scripture that I felt like, I guess highlights my life's purpose. So I was like, interesting. So he started asking me questions about it, but the session was going on, so it was like, we'll talk later. And we did talk later, but before then, like we started going for lunch together. We'd go for like not necessarily just like sometimes just us, but sometimes like in groups. It was a 3-day camp, by the way. So we'll go or 3 or 4 days. I think it's 4 days. You leave on the 4th day, so we'd go together for lunch. And during that time as well, like my sister had to. So my sister, so I moved out of the boarding facility, like the school, like the accommodation. I moved out and then went to like guest house. So usually like the married people that are still part of the group, they tend to like stay in like the guest houses around, which is still on the same campus. So I moved with my sister because it wasn't comfortable. I wasn't very comfortable in the accommodation. So and the guest house that my sister was staying at was quite far. It wasn't really a walking distance, so I was going with them. But then my sister had to leave the camp for like her brother-in-law's wedding. So during that day, she offered to like kind of drive me to so I think there was a program that evening. There was an event, maybe like a costume party or something. So he offered to like take me back in the afternoon. I think in the afternoon you have free time. So he offered to drive me back to the guest house, bring me back. So by the way, like by this time, obviously, like I'm beginning to understand that okay, I'm spending a lot of time with this guy. People were making so many comments. I'm like, okay, like like just normal stuff, like just normal stuff that I would do to people as well. So like people were making comments and just saying that, we see you, like where are you going? Like if they see us alone together. And then all of that now come to this day before the day before we left the camp. It was a dinner night. Again, my sister wasn't around. She had gone for this was the second day, so she went out and came back like twice. She went for my brother-in-law's wedding still. Anyway, why am I telling you this? So she was back to, so she had to take me again. He offered to take me to for the dinner. By the time he came to pick me for the dinner, as soon like he knocked, I was dressing up. He knocked. I put the door. He came with someone actually. I was like, "Oh, you look really nice," but it wasn't ready at that time, so he went back, went to get dressed. By the time he came back, I was like, "You look nice." Like, I didn't say that to him, but I was thinking that, "Oh, you look really nice." And then he picked me up. I'm going to try and skip irrelevant part. Anyway, he picked me up, we went to dinner, and then I remember I was sitting outside. We were quite late, it had started, and I think he had told someone to save us seats. And then I remember saying, oh, then my sister called and said, oh, she was back, but she needed the key to where she was staying, to the guest house. So he needed to like go and give it to us. I was like, oh, I don't want to be the only one sitting there. I'm going to be sitting by myself. And I was like, no, you're not going to be sitting alone. You're with me. It was such a small statement, but in my head, I was like, all the butterflies were like just jumping out. At this point, obviously, I knew like at this point, like I liked him, and something was definitely brewing. Then that night, at the end of the dinner went well. At the end of the dinner, we had the conversation that he had asked me about purpose. So we're just sitting in the car. I'm not encouraging these boys and girls, but I think we talked for like 4 hours till no, maybe yeah, like 4 hours. We spoke to like 4 a.m. in the car. After like everyone, the dinner ended maybe like 11, then kind of talked to other people till like 12, and then everyone goes to sleep. But then we stayed in this car till like 4 a.m. Nothing, of course, like it was a godly conversation. Nothing happened. It was all good. But like I said, I'm not encouraging you to put yourself in such circumstances. It was just like I guess it was just the environment. So we're talking about that night. We're speaking about purpose, about the scripture I like showed him earlier. Then we started talking about a lot of like spiritual stuff. But purpose was really what we spoke about that night, and it was telling me like some of the things that like how he walked with God, and I was just getting so excited because for me, like one of the ways that I felt like I would know my future husband is through purpose. I felt like our purpose would align. I'd even written that down like previously. So as I was saying these things, I was really excited. I was talking about young people, and I was like, yes, honey. But yeah, I got so excited. We talked a lot, and clearly, like I could see that there was something there. So that the camp ended, and the holiday went on. By the time just before I left, went on a date. We hung out, went on dates, and then I remember him officially asking me to be his, I can't remember what he said. No, I think he didn't ask me to be his girlfriend. Probably, oh yeah, he asked me to marry him. I was like, what, are you being ridiculous? That I should marry him in 3 weeks or something ridiculous. As far as I'm concerned, he was joking. But yeah, so I was like, I didn't give him a response. I was like, you know what? I'm in this mood of holiday, like like how it is like when you go on vacation, like everything is just so, it's not your natural habitat to an extent, so you may not really be thinking properly, and all the butterflies, I don't know, they're just jumping in my stomach, so I wasn't really thinking properly. So I was like, you know what, I'll give you a response when I get back to England. So I came back here, told my family, actually, this story is getting super long. I'm going to have to put it in 2 parts. Okay, I came back here. I have to say an important part, which is where I got ill. I got really ill in Nigeria. So the day I was leaving Nigeria, he kindly was dropping me at the airport. He offered to drop me at the airport. And as we're going, I was fine. Guys, the last time I had eaten, I think, again, I've done a video about this, and I think the video was titled How I Missed My Flight for Love. Was a bit of a misleading title, but excuse me, it was a bit of a misleading title, but yeah, I was completely fine. I think the last thing I ate was the evening before, must have been around 4. So like I was completely fine, and my flight was, I think we're going to the airport like 7 a.m. I was completely fine, checked in like 8 in the morning. I hadn't eaten anything, and then since I checked in and we had a bit of time, so we decided to go and get breakfast at the airport. And just as they were bringing the food, like before, actually on our way to the airport, I started feeling like some cramps, like stomach cramps. I was like, I didn't say anything. I was just kind of thinking that it will go, but I was feeling like it was quite intense. Anyway, that I'm going to skip because I've done a whole video about it. But we got to the restaurant. By the time they brought just as they brought my food, like the cramps had really kicked in, so I just asked them for the toilet. I went to the toilet. I didn't come out of the toilet for like the next 3 hours maybe. That's how intense it was. Like I was on the floor. They had to get a wheelchair from the health center to come pick me up. I missed my flights. And he really really took care of me. Like I saw him, I was like, when I was in mess, like I don't think I've ever been in such mess since then, and by God's grace I won't be, but I was in like real mess, and like he was there, literally like there by my side. Didn't leave me. Like he actually even wanted to. So after I left the airport health center, I went to hospital. My sister came to meet me there. He wanted to like stay the night. Myself like, no, like you've done enough. You need to, at this point, you need to go. They went, like came back the next morning like 6 a.m. as my sister was going back to work. Stayed there. Like I remember like he wrote this like really really lovely note, and I was like, oh my gosh, like anyone that can love me like in this state must definitely be here to stay. Anyway, I'm going to skip all the lovey-dovey at this point because it's probably like, I don't know, 1 hour at this point. But I'm going, like, the focus of the story is how God wrote my love story. So the point was, I didn't want to go to Nigeria, but like all those ideas I had about, like, it was so random, like go to Nigeria, oh, do things big, me just thinking that, oh, this would be my last December as a single person, when it wasn't like I was trying to, sometimes you're trying to like confess it so that you can believe it. No, it wasn't like it just came from nowhere, as it were. Of course it came from the Holy Spirit. It must have been the Holy Spirit trying to quicken me and help me to understand, like, something is happening. I got back here as soon as, of course, like I told my pastor, I told his wife, and she was like, I think just no, I don't know if she was maybe she was trying to hide it. No, I remember when I told her, she was like, I knew it, like I just knew it, like I knew it, like when you were going to Nigeria, but obviously at the same time they don't know him yet, so trying to like get to know him, or at least speak to him and find out more about him. I had a dream. So I didn't give him an answer at this point, but by the time I got back here, I got back like maybe 11th of January. So I had a dream, and in the dream, God told me to give him my response to his question. And the question he was asking me was like, oh, something like maybe us being in a relationship or being his girlfriend with view to get married. That's exactly what he said. And I got to. Yeah, so in the dream, God told me to give him my response by 22nd of Jan. So in the dream, it was like a thought in my head. So in the dream, I was like, if this is God, 22nd of January will be a Sunday. And so then I woke up. So as soon as I woke up, you can imagine, I just literally grabbed my phone and I was like, what do you have a week is 22nd of January? And I saw it was Sunday. I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, God, you didn't tell me what answer. You just said give a response. Anyway, like we had other things that confirmed to me, like, we took a break from talking, or I took a break from talking. I was like, give us 3 days. Let me just think, pray about this. In those 3 days, I had like 3 different confirmations on it, like things, people I wasn't even speaking to about it. After that, I think the 3 days was pretty much going to be like 3 days or 4 days before like the 22nd or something. I had different confirmations, and I actually wrote it down. And the reason why I wrote all these confirmations down was I was like, when challenges or when things happen in marriage that are not so pleasant, I wanted to be able to like hold on to this and be like, God, you said, I'm here because you said, like, I'm in this marriage because you said, like, this is literally the person that you picked for me. And I remember like the very very last sign I asked God for was the 22nd. I was going to give my response. It was a Sunday, so I went to church, and I was like, God, I'm going to church, like, I just want you to kind of get my pastor to talk to me about it again. Before, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I don't want to be the one to instigate the conversation. I don't want to be the one to like start the conversation. I want them to call me. And after church that day, like, my pastor wasn't even there because he was talking to someone, like, I don't know, somewhere. He wasn't in the auditorium, and so I was about leaving. So in my head, I was like thinking, oh well, like, he wouldn't even see me leaving. At least if you saw me leaving, then he can easily say, oh, like, come to me. But I wasn't, like, he wasn't even there at all. So I was kind of disappointed. And then I was going, his wife saw me, and she was like, oh, Tommy, are you going? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh no, don't go, like, pastor wants to talk to you. I was just like, Like I was so excited. So both of them like took me and spoke to me. They're like, okay, so what are you thinking? Blah blah. I was like, yeah, I just have complete peace about it. Blah blah. They're like, yeah. They didn't say yes or no because they leave you to make your decision at the end of the day to marriage. But I could they did kind of not directly, but they did kind of give me their blessing. But anyway, I also this for me now the things that or how God wrote the love story was the fact that it was not on my mind. Like there was no way that I could have worked it out for Shay to find Shay because we were not even living in the same country. I had no plans. It wasn't like a ritual that every December I go to Nigeria and it was just on one of those trips. No, it was just like everything. It was like I could just see like in hindsight in everything I could see like how God placed everything and put everything together and made it work so perfectly. Like the trip, me planning and saying that this would be my last December, let's do this, the singles event, let's make it like a big one. I need to go to Nigeria now because I may not be able to go again for this event because I'll be married. And yes, I did get married in December. I mean I got married legally in July, legally and traditionally in July, but then we had our church wedding in December, which really is our wedding anniversary. So yeah, that was like really my last December fully as a single person or single lady. And so I could just see like the hand of God written all over it. Like even because in my church at the time, like all the guys there, like all the guys there really, there wasn't anyone that was for me, right? Obviously. And like a lot of times like you'd hear people say like, oh, you even you yourself, like you think about it and like, okay, look, if like my life is all about work, church, home, if really that's what I do every time, like there's a good chance that you're expecting to like find your life partner in church. So and if church is looking like it's not happening, sometimes like it could appear logical as okay, visit other churches here and there, or maybe move churches, and all of those things, they seem logical when you look at it, but it's just like it just shows that God could do it, like even when it seemed like a really slim chance of it happening, or because there was no way like I could absolutely work it out. And I'm telling this story so that you see that honestly, like when we leave things to God and when you don't lower your standards, you don't just go with every Tom, Dick and Harry just because you're thinking like clock is ticking. Like I said, I was 26 at the time. I'd never been in a relationship ever. So imagine like the pressure that I could have been feeling. Like at least if you've had relationships, you know that okay, it's fine. It's just like that one just didn't work out. The right person will come along. But I've never been in relationships. Yes, I had people that like me, I had people I'm talking to, but it never really went. There was no one that I could really say that this is the person that I want to bring home. So just goes to show that when like God says it's time and when he's putting everything together and when you really give him the pen and let him be the one like to write the story, let him be the one to orchestrate everything, like it makes it so beautiful. And he did it so quickly. I did a video about so much can happen in 1 year, and you should watch that video. Like how it wasn't just like the getting married, like Shay moving here, me getting a promotion, we got a house that same year. Like there were so many things that happened like in that year in 2017, I believe, but so many things. And it was just like it just had God written all over it. And like I used to feel like I'm such a good girl, like, and even in my vows, like I wrote it like I'm such a great, as I felt like I was such a gift, and anyone that gets to marry me will be so blessed to have me. And yes, that's true. But honestly, like with my husband, like I know that it's also in the same way like I'm a gift to him, is also a gift to me. So it wasn't just like someone like, okay, yeah, like we're single, let's give you, like God really gave me the best, and I know that God can give you the best for you as well. So I just want to encourage you to let God write your love story. If you've been trying to orchestrate and work things out and pull all the strings, I'm not saying that don't make yourself available. I'm not saying that if people are inviting you to events, don't go because you want everything to be like you need God to come and tell you in a dream to go for this event or whatever. No, like live your life, enjoy yourself, but don't don't force God's hand into things that are not in. Like sometimes we've made a decision, we decide that this is what we're going to do, and we're just asking God to bless it. But let it be that it's God that orchestrates the story like that. That you yourself, you look back and know that there's no way that I could have really worked this together. There's no way I could have really tried like in my power to bring this together. And yes, God is interested in writing that love story. The question is, are you like ready to rest and wait for him to write it, and wait for him to write it how he wants to write it? I think that's really what this video is about, and it is absolutely going to be my longest video ever. I most definitely am thinking I will have to divide it or put it into 2 parts. But thank you so much for watching. If you have questions about anything I've said, please ask. I'm always excited to read from you, and to answer, to give advice if necessary, to pray. Just reach out. And I just want to pray for every single person here watching this video that desires a lovely man, desires a godly man, a godly woman, a godly marriage. I pray that God will bless you with your heart's desires, but more importantly, God's purpose concerning marriage for you will stand, and his purpose in terms of like the life partner, who he wants you to be with, and how he wants you to be with the person, and when he wants you to be with the person, that God's purpose will stand concerning you. And you look back to this time of being single, and you just be thankful that you didn't rush into anything, because you have such beautiful marriage, and you will just be glad that you did it God's way, not just in choosing the man, but also even in the process of being the relationship, the courtship, that whole process, that everything, that you'll just be so excited that you did everything God's way, in the mighty name of Jesus. God loves you, I love you, and remember to like, share my video, subscribe, and goodbye.